Hey guys, what's up? Shin0525 here, coming back at ya with another drawing video. And today's video we're going to be drawing Jak from Jak 2. I already have a Jak from Jak and Daxter. So now we're moving on to Jak 2 Jak. And this video was requested by Salgado 8835. I hope I pronounced your name right. That's Salgado 8835. Thank you so much for the request, and I also do have your request to do Jak 3 Jak. That will be coming in the future as well. But today we're drawing Jak 2 Jak. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get our pencils ready, and let's jump in. Alright guys, so to start off drawing Jak, what we could do is just kind of get the gesture down. And basically, we're going to get like a nice decent sized circle right here for his head and keep everything light, just because these are just guidelines. So keep it light. Then you can kind of get like a line going down here, and then his halfway point, like this is where like his pelvis is going to start. We'll start here, and then his legs will go down, so we'll have one leg about here. This leg will kind of go straight down. And then what we could do is kind of make like this upside down Dorito shape, kind of, on an angle here like this. And then if you want to, you can draw little circles at the end for his shoulders. And then it basically just goes straight across and then up like this. And then he's going to have another hand that goes over and then up and then across like that. And then I guess you can just kind of just gesture in like a big oval here. And this will be like his midsection right here. You can kind of get that in with a square. And then he's going to have like his legs going down here like this. His foot's going to go about here and here. Kind of make the little divide there and there. And then for the arms, you can get like two ovals like this. Oval like this. And again, you don't have to be super exact with this gesture. It is just enough to get us started and kind of map out how tall he is and stuff like that. So don't stress out if it doesn't add up exactly correctly. And also, we can get like this big rectangle that goes across his head. That's going to be where his like gun is. And that's pretty much it for the gesture. So let's jump into detail here. So we're going to start off with his face. If you want to, we could refine the face shape a little bit more. You could draw the crosshairs like this, and his eye line will be right about here. And then, I guess if you want to, you can kind of draw more of like a head shape, so giving it like a little bit of a jaw as it goes up and around like this. And again, I'm still drawing everything super light. But now we're going to start going into detail here. I can zoom in even more. Here like that. So what we're going to start off with is kind of like his head shape. So we're going to start right here, and basically we're just going to go down and then kind of curve it in where like this eye line is right here. So it's going to dip in, and then it's just going to kind of curve down to like this point here, and then just kind of curve up and then stop right about there like that. And I'm actually going to erase some of these guidelines too and redraw it in so it's nice and clear. And again, this is why when you do like guidelines and stuff, draw it very, very light. So when you do erase, you're left with just the lines that you want. And right in the middle here, we're going to get his nose, which is this little like kind of curve line like that. And then his mouth is just a kind of curve line that curves like this and kind of up, and we're going to give him like a little bit of like a smirk. And then underneath, we're going to get like this little curve line like this, and this is going to go into his goatee, which is a line going down here, here, and then kind of goes into like this little kind of V shape, and you can erase the overlap there like that. And now that we got that done, we can do his eyes. So his eyes are going to be kind of like these big kind of like ovals like this. But what we're going to start off with doing is his eyebrows. So we're going to draw a curved line going down like this, and then across and over. And then same thing here, except this one's going to be like a little bit of like a check mark. It's going to go over and across like that. And then for the eyes themselves, they're just a line going down. Kind of straightens out at the bottom there. So it's like a curved line going down, and then it goes straight, and then it curves in like that. And then what we're going to do is get kind kind of like an oval here, and then one go in there like that. Then we're going to get a nice big circle right there, and then a slightly smaller oval that you can kind of shade in the middle. Like that. Yeah. Get a little bit better. Something like that. And that's pretty much it for his face. So now we're going to do some more kind of gesture work and lightly draw in kind of this curve line like this. And then it's going to go into like this rectangle. Like that. And then on this rectangle we're going to get like a circle here and then like a small circle here. And now this is good enough to start drawing in his, I'll adjust the camera, his headband, or goggles. I think they're goggles. And basically what you're going to do is just draw a nice, decent sized oval like this. And then in that oval you're going to draw a little curve line. And on the edges here you're going to go out, out, and around like that. And then you'll get a line going down here, and it'll curve it in. Now in this middle section here you're going to get like a little rectangle like that. And then here what we're going to do is get like an oval, and then a line just kind of going out like that. So it almost looks like a paper clip, really, when I'm looking at it, like a sideways, like kind of paper clip. So you get like an oval here, and it goes out like this. Pretty good. And then we could just darken in this kind of line here as it goes down there, kind of darken it over here. Darken in this, go over, and then down. And now we're going to go into his ear, because his ear starts actually right here. And his ear is pretty simple. It's just this nice kind of curve line that goes out like this. Jack has like super long kind of elf ears. And then the tip here, we're going to go down, and then curve it in. And then you basically get like this kind of, it almost looks like a fish, really. Like this is like the fin, and then there's the top part. And the last thing you want to do is just draw a nice curved line that hugs this top curve like that. And that's pretty much it for his ear. Then we could kind of close this down as the dog starts barking for no reason. So that's good. Now what we're going to do is draw in his kind of, it's like a scarf type of thing. But basically it starts right here, and it's going to go down, over, and in like this. So a nice curve line like that. It'll start here, bounce up, kind of go in like that, and then get a little curve line right there. And now before we draw in anything else, oh, I guess we can draw in the rest of his thing, then we'll go into his hair. So we're going to go down, and now we can kind of, if you want to, you can kind of gesture in his neck. It'd be something like this. We're not going to see a lot of it because we're going to get the scarf here. So to start off the scarf, we're going to start right where his cheek is and just draw a nice little curve line going in like that. Then it's going to bump out, kind of go over like this, and then start right about here, kind of go over. And then right here we're going to draw a curve line going in like so. And then bump it out, kind of have it go in like that. So you should have a shape that looks something like this. Move the paper closer. And if you want to, you can draw probably like a line going in the middle here too, just to show it's kind of like folded in. Like that. And now that that's done, we can draw in his hair. So I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit and go here. And now for his hair, it's pretty simple. It's this kind of like big kind of like curve shape like this. But we can do a little bit better, refine the shape. It's kind of more wavy. So what I like to do is start here, kind of go in, have it dip in and then out a little bit, and then maybe stop right about there. And then we'll start right here with another line and go up, kind of down. And then it's going to go into a spike here like this. And then from that spike, it's just going to curve in and down like that. And then you probably get like another little spike right here, like if we were to continue this, go into like a spike there like that. And then the last thing we need to do here is draw in his ear, which we just see a little bit of. So basically it's just going to be this curve line going out like this, and then it's going to curve in, and then kind of get that fish shape right about there like that. So that is pretty much it for his head, which I think is a pretty tricky thing, but nothing too bad. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here and adjust the camera slightly. It's starting to fall. And basically what we're going to do here is start off with like his chest area and just kind of refine the shape a little bit. So I'm going to just kind of gesture in like a curve line here. And it'll be kind of like this nice big kind of curve that goes out like this. Something like that. But what we're going to do is get a nice big circle in the middle here. And then we're going to get a slightly smaller circle right there. So we got like this little donut. And then from that donut, what we're going to do is get a curve line like this going up. It's going to kind of wrap around the donut like this and then go up here like that. And then on this side, we're going to have another strap to get a curve line here, go around like this, and then curve in like that. And then same thing here, it's going to curve in and around like so. And then on this one, we're going to get a little curve line here, up and around, and then curve that one in here like this. It's going to go up and kind of curve in like so. And then what we're going to do is kind of just darken in the part of the circle that's not covered up by like these bands. Like that. And if you want to, you can also give it a little bit more depth by drawing a very close line on the edge here, and one here, and then one a little bit right here to give it a little bit more detail. But now that that's down, we could gesture in kind of like this arm going up here, and we're going to stop right about here because we do need to draw in like the gun and stuff. So we'll start the arm, but we'll finish it a little bit later. So right here what we're going to do is get his shoulder pad, which is going to be a line going out here like this, and it's going to curve over like that. And then we're going to get another line that hugs this line very closely like this, and then we're just getting a nice curve line that'll kind of intersect this this like strap that he has on the circle here, and you could just erase it like that. And now right here we could get a little bit of like a bump here, just show like the shirt folding as it goes down and in. And then the arm will kind of, and again this is kind of where we're going to stop here, just kind of curve in like that, curve in right about there. And again we're going to pick this up in a second while we start drawing in the second arm here. And the second arm's fairly simple. It's going to be this little curve line like that, little curve line that stops here. So it's basically this shape but with a gap in the middle here like so. And then the gun's going to kind of cover a lot of this up, so it'll just be kind of like a line here. And then right about here we're just going to line going curving down, get like a little bit of a spike here before going in like that. So that's good. And yeah, might as well do the top part and then we'll get the bottom half. The bottom half is a lot easier. So let's just jump into his arms. So basically, let me adjust the pencil here. So basically what we're going to do here is get a shape, and I'm going to gesture all this in, so we're doing it light. You're basically going to get like an oval here that's going to go into like this shape here, and then you're going to have like the fingers and the hand kind of go out like this over the gun. So what we're going to do is start with the fingers up here, and basically all you really need to do is draw this the pointer finger first, and then you can draw these three fingers as one shape. And basically what I'm going to do here, and just follow along, I'll even zoom in a little bit, is we're going to draw a curve line going over, kind of down, and then down again like this. Then it's going to curve in, and go in like that. And now we're going to get a curve line going in like this, kind of get like a few bumps where the knuckles are. And then this line's just going to curve out and over like this, and then go in like that. Then we're going to get another line just going off of that and going in like so, and then one more for the pinky there. And this line will go into that one, like that. The thumb will kind of pop out of here like so. And then just for the top, you're just going to get this nice little curve line that goes around the top of it like that. And now that that's done, we can get the bottom of it as well, which is pretty much this shape. So I'm going to just follow this curve line here like this. But before we dip it in, I'm going to start with a line curving down here. It's going to go over and then up like that. And then we're going to hug it right here like so. And then we're going to start here, draw a line kind of curving in like that for the elbow. This line will curve over and up like that. And then we'll just get like a curve line going around here and here like so. So you should have shapes that look something like this going into the glove here. And I guess we'll just do this side of the gun. So basically it is pretty much this big kind of like rectangle shape. Now we're just going to break it off into other shapes. So you can break it off into like, there's going to be a shape right here. A slightly smaller kind of rectangle right here as it goes into like a bigger kind of rectangle like that. And this is where like the trigger will be. So you can get like a little rectangle here. And then we can get another kind of rectangle on the end here like that. I'm going to zoom out because I'm noticing it's not all in camera. So once you have a shape like this, we can kind of just refine the shape a little bit more. So I'm going to start on the inside here and basically just get a line going over, and then it's going to go down and then in like this. Then it's going to turn into like this kind of U shape. And then right here what we're going to do is get a line going over like this, hug that little U shape here like this, go over, up, and then in like so. And then this is just going to go down and across like that. Here we're going to get just like a little bit of like a triangle there with a line going straight across like this. And then this line's going to go straight across and then curve into like where the fingers are. Now for the handle, it's just going to be this kind of rectangle that we have here, like that. And then we're going to draw like this oval that hugs the top part right there. And then we're just going to go into a nice big square like that. And now for this one, it's going to go down and then over and then kind of over and in like this. Then we'll get like a little bit of like a rectangle, like a very tiny rectangle right there. And on the edge here, what we're going to do is draw a nice little oval like this, go up, kind of draw that oval, kind of connect them in like so. And then very similar to what we did up here, we're going to draw a line hugging this line very closely, and then go out, over, and then down like that. And that's pretty much it for the gun. Again, you can kind of erase kind of the overlap like so. And then just kind of keep in what you need. I guess this line will be a little bit right there like that between the fingers, and you can just kind of connect this line and this line in. So again, the gun's a little complicated, but I think if you just kind of break it down to shapes, it shouldn't be too bad. So now we are going to get the other side. Let me adjust the camera here again. So this side of the gun shouldn't be too bad. Basically what we could do is actually kind of do the same thing we did last time, where we kind of gesture in the hand. So we're going to start with a curve line here, and then that's going to like turn to like an oval going around. I guess you can draw a line there too of the arm going in. Then I'm going to very lightly just kind of draw in kind of like this type of shape. And then for this hand, it's just going to be like this oval going out here. The thumb will be right about here, and then you just draw one finger going out like this. It's going to go out and down. And now we can just draw on the rest. So we're going to start drawing into detail, and we'll start with the thumb here. And it's going to be this nice little curve line like this. And there'll be a line curving out, down, across, over, and then in like that for the thumb. And then here we're just going to get a curve line curving in like that. Another curve line curving in like so. And now here what we're going to do is get a curve line that wraps around, has like a little bit of a dip into it, and then goes down and then over like this. And then for this finger, we're basically just going to draw a line going down, then over, then in, like that. And then for the rest of the fingers, they're just going to be like going off of this one. So we're just going to get a line going off here, curve it up, and then in, then over. Same thing here, up, in, and over. And then we'll get a little bit of the pinky there, like that. And now that that's done, we could gesture in the gun. So the gun can be broken down into like this oval shape right here. Then it's going to go into like this kind of curve, like line, and it's going to go on a diagonal down and then across. And then we're gonna get like this square here, and then kind of like a line going down like that, and then kind of like two kind of like cylinders going in it like so. So it's pretty good for the gesture. So I'm just going to kind of refine the shapes here. So we're just going to draw a line going down here. I'm going to try to keep it as lined up as possible with kind of like this side. Like that. Draw a line going in like this. Go across like that. So we got like a cylinder. And then same thing on this side. And again, you want to make sure it kind of feels like a straight line going across the whole way. Oh. And now for this one, we'll finish off this kind of like oval, like this. Then it'll just be a line going in like that. This line will go down and across like so. And then I guess you can draw another line that hugs this line real closely too, for a little bit more detail. And then very similar like these, we're basically just going to get a line going out, and then across, and then in. And we'll get one more here that we really just don't see because of the fingers, but it would go out, across, and over like that. And then again, you can erase the glove overlap here, and then just darken in this line going in like that. Again, his hands with the gun is the hardest part of this whole picture. So if you're able to get that done, congratulations, you did the hardest part. So the rest of his body is actually fairly simple and easy. So we're just going to go down here. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see in proportion of what we're doing. So basically his shirt can be broken down into a very simple shape with a curved rectangle like this. That'll curve up like so. And then this will kind of curve in and then over like that. And then here you're just going to get like two kind of stripes going across here and then here like so. And now that that's done, we can draw in kind of like his pants. So I'm going to simplify his pants a little bit by drawing like gesturing in this kind of curve line. And it's going to go into about here, kind of go out. So you kind of want this like little bump going out here like that. And then kind of the same thing here. Stop around the same side and just kind of curve in like that. This curve's a little bit too extreme. So you should get a shape that looks something like this. But before we do that in, he has like a little pocket thing here. So to draw that in, we're going to draw a curve line. Then a line going down. Then it's going to curve around like this. Kind of go up and then kind of straight into this line again. And then here it's just going to go down, across, over, and then up. And then you'll get like a little line right there as well. Zoom in a little bit more. And then we'll just get a nice long curve line as like a strap kind of connecting into it like that. And then just darken in this line. And that's pretty much good for the pants here. And honestly, this line's good too. We could just kind of darken in this. Like so. And then what we're going to do here is get kind of like a little rectangle like this here and here like that with like a little kind of U shape popping out like this for the strap. And then right at the end here we're going to get like this little curve line like that as kind of like the pants like popping out a little bit. So there's like a belt that's around the pants to, I guess, keep them up. Like that. And now all we need to do is draw in his legs, which his legs aren't too bad. So this one's going to be more on like an angle. So to draw that in, you could draw a line going down, kind of curve it in like this. Go across. And then here it's just going to kind of curve in like that. And then the foot here is just going to go down, across, over, and then your foot shape's going to be something like this. So if you have a shape that looks similar to this, you're in good shape. So what we're going to do here is kind of just darken in this line. Like so. We're going to go across, and we're just going to have a curve line going up like that. Here we're going to get those parallel lines, very similar to what we did like right up here. We're going to get them here, so we're going to get two parallel lines here, and then 2 parallel lines here for like straps going around his shin. And then for the foot itself, what we're going to do is draw a line curving across and then down. Then it's going to go over and then up like this for like a strap on his shoe. And then here what we're going to do is draw a line going to go over, kind of curve it in, then it's going to go up, across, and then down right about there. And then we'll just darken in this line. And then this line's just going to go over and then just kind of curve in like so. Then we'll just darken in this line like that, and then just draw this line curving in like that. And now here we're just going to draw a little kind of rectangle on the bottom here for his shoe. And that's pretty much it for this leg. Again, not too complicated. As long as you're kind of following these shapes, it shouldn't be too bad. And now we're pretty much going to draw the same thing on this side, just going more straight down. So this foot's going to be more kind of like head on. But what we could do is just gesture in this shape by drawing a line going down, kind of having a little bit of a curve to it before going up, and then just kind of curving up like that. And actually this shape's pretty good. So I'm just going to keep that here. And then we're going to just get a nice little curve line that curves in like so. And then again, we'll get those kind of straps here and here. And then another one there and there. Kind of darken in this line a little bit. And then for this shoe, since it's a little bit more like head-on, so it's like facing towards us, what we're going to do is draw in a shape that looks something like this. Like that. And then we'll start with the strap here as it goes down and across. Here's going to be a line going up, over, down, and across like that. So we got the strap there. We'll get that little kind of rectangle type thing right there as we get a line going down, across, over, and then up like that. And you can erase this kind of like middle part here. But that is pretty much it. That is how you draw Jack from Jak 2. This is a hard one. There's a lot of detail. It's a full body picture. So this is pretty hard, and especially this area right here, like this gun and his hands. I think that's the hardest part about the whole thing. But if you got that down fairly well, the rest of the picture is super easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sketch here. I will put the inked version I did up here as well. So we can get kind of like the two of them right in there. So you get a good reference at both. But yeah, this was a challenging one. So if you were able to get through the whole thing, pat yourself on the back. Congratulations. And thank you again, Salgado 8835 for the request. I do appreciate it. Jak 3 will be coming up in the future sometime. And if you guys have requests, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I do take them. And then just tune in on Sunday when I make a drawing video, and hopefully yours will pop up. So, yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye. Later.